of year, Brian, where we have winter weather in parts of land and we have severe thunderstorms in the southeast.
One of those things, isn't it,
yeah,
Jay?
western South Dakota, the cold air. That's where we have blizzard warnings that continue the far northwestern corner of South Dakota. We also have some wind warnings that are posted for central and northeastern South Dakota. High wind warnings are in effect really right through Thursday. And of course, here in southeastern KELO area, south of Sioux Falls, we do have a tornado watch that is posted until 10 o'clock tonight. Let's take a closer look, if we can, at some of those cells, Brian.
All right. Well, we're watching this particular thunderstorm here in the Yankton area. It's not severe, but it is tracking to the northeast quickly. There's lightning with that, and also we're in a tornado watch. So we're going to continue to watch this scan very carefully on the Beersford radar. Again, Storm Tracker takes that up toward Viborg by 525. Hurley 531, Davis 533, Parker 538. It would also eventually make it towards Sioux Falls. Again, not severe at the present moment, but we're just going to keep watching that. Now, down here in northwest Iowa, we do have one severe thunderstorm warning out of our coverage area. But notice this, we've got a bunch of these cells popping up east of Sioux City. Those are tracking to the northeast. Could be an issue for parts of our northwest Iowa counties with that tornado watch in effect. One final thing, Jay, I want to do right now is scan west of Sioux Falls. We have another thunderstorm that's growing west of Mitchell, near Plankington right now. Again, not severe. We'll keep an eye on it here in the next hour or two.
All right, we do look for thunderstorms to continue to grow here in southeastern KELO land during the evening hours. 32 degrees. We do have that tornado watch just south of the Sioux Falls area, Lincoln County to the south. That's posted till 10 o'clock tonight. Looks like most of the thunderstorms are going to be east of the KELO land area by about midnight. Angela?
Thanks, Jay.
Matter of time, storms are popping and growing quickly, and we've got a surge of warm air. Right now, Sioux Falls has jumped another degree. We're at 66 degrees, increasing humidity. You've been watching that trend even to the south with increasing warmth.
Yeah, the temperature going up, and as that happens, it's been a very changing day. You can see Parker now. That's kind of the cloud line we're watching here to the southwest of Parker. Again, at this moment, no severe thunderstorm warnings, but we are carefully watching that storm. We're watching others that are growing. In fact, even since we had our last weather segment here, Jay, we've had now another storm that's popped up in and around the Corsica area.
All right,
so
we'll get to that in just a moment. Tornado watch again just south of the Sioux Falls area till 10 o'clock tonight. Hail to golf ball size and damaging winds. Here's a look at the big picture. Nothing severe at the present time, but you can see some of the way that those areas of red on your screen are growing and they're moving to the northeast. Those are the storms we're watching. Again, nothing severe yet, but there's a lot of instability in the air. Brian, you want to take a closer look at some of those cells?
yes, take a look at just this one. This is just brand new in the last 5 minutes. Corsica, Armor. Let me rewind the radar here just from about, there we go, 510, nothing. Then we have this at 522. So that area, Douglas County, we'll keep an eye on that. Another cell near Plankington. Here we go. We'll pan this one over here, Jay. This feature over Mayfield. We're watching this carefully here. Again, this structure west of Irene is organizing. It is not severe, but we've got some internal data that's trying to form severe weather within the next 45 minutes, moving northeast into Turner County. So keep that in mind as we watch the weather here within the next half hour to hour or so.
And now a severe thunderstorm warning for that cell that you're watching down in northwest Iowa. Golf ball size hail around Cherokee, Ida, Plymouth, Woodbury counties. That's until 6 o'clock tonight. So we're starting to get some more severe development in northwest Iowa. So there's a lot going on here in southeastern KELO land. We'll keep an eye on those cells. I mean, widespread thunderstorms, and they're growing quickly. We have no warnings posted. It looks like the cells near Corsica might be trying to produce some hail as they move in a northeasterly direction, headed towards Sioux Falls. Tornado watch posted areas south of Sioux Falls until 10 p.m. tonight. It is going to be a busy evening here in the storm center. The cells should be out of here, moving off to the east by about midnight. That's the view from Parker. Cells are moving in a northeasterly direction, becoming more widespread, becoming stronger as we head through the dinner time.
Thank you for joining us.
Enjoy the rest of your evening.
If you're able to move your car under under cover, might be a good time to do so. We have numerous pockets of hail, including some that are now moving into the Sioux Falls area. Sioux Falls under a severe thunderstorm warning. Here's a look at KELO Live Doppler. You do see all the yellow boxes. Those are severe thunderstorm warnings. There's a cell with a history of some pretty big hail now south of Mitchell toward the Karstens area. Everything moving in a northeasterly direction. Of course, we are under a tornado watch as well until 10 o'clock tonight. We are going to have an update from the Storm Center in just a moment. KELO News starts now.
Live from KELO Media Group, KELO News at 6.
Real thunder and a downpour right now, Jay.
A downpour in some places, Bridget, hail in other places. These cells have popped up. They're going quickly. Brian Karstens, Adam Rutt joining me in the Storm Center. First of all, Brian, now thunderstorms moving into Sioux Falls. We have a warning, maybe some hail.
Yes, in fact, that's really the main reason for the severe thunderstorm warning for Sioux Falls right now is hail coming in on the south side of town. We have 65 at the airport right now, and of course, thunder and lightning going on. So for soccer games and those things going on, I'm assuming that they're pausing that as we speak. Let's take a look at 41st Street. That is now Shirley Avenue, and you can see that downpour really coming down, isn't it, Jay?
It is really raining there. It's also really raining in Mitchell. Look at what's going on there. We've got very heavy rainfall. We've had some hail south of Mitchell to the east of the Corsica area, and that's not the only place we have concerns. Sioux Falls in the area in green now has just been issued a severe thunderstorm watch until midnight, mainly large hail. The area south of Sioux Falls, the red, that's where we have a tornado watch until 10 p.m. tonight. And here's a look. Brian is keeping an eye on a couple cells down to the south, and maybe you want to go through those, Brian. That's the severe cell we have over the southern part of Sioux Falls right now.
Yes, the area is where it is hailing right now, and specifically that's 85th Street up to 57th. It is now hailing also in Sioux Falls on the north side of 57th Street, mostly up just about to 41st. Again, it's mixed with heavy rain, but those are areas we're watching in the southern part of the city as we speak. I do want to pull this view out quickly, and we got to pan over here to the west because this storm south and affecting the Mitchell area, in particular now to Parkston. Viper is now suggesting there's some rotation on that. Again, that is non-tornadic, but it has some at least upper level rotation. We'll continue to watch that one very carefully here, Jay.
And that's an area that did get some hail a bit earlier. We're keeping an eye on these cells. We'll have an update from the Storm Center in just a couple minutes.
All right, thanks, Jay.
Spread numerous pockets of hail, widespread numerous pockets of very heavy rainfall. In fact, one is coming through Sioux Falls right now.
It has been raining hard here at our studios in downtown, and we do know that there is a little hail mixed in with this at times over the city. So severe thunderstorm warning is in effect, and that's a live view from our 41st Street camera, Shirley Avenue. Also the ponding of the water, also 41st Street. That's a typical thing there too when that rain comes down very heavily. J2, we have a number of watches in addition to the tornado watch earlier. Now we have a severe thunderstorm watch north of Interstate 90.
And that one is posted until midnight tonight, mainly for hail, but again, we also have some pockets of heavy rainfall. The radar just exploded earlier this afternoon. All the flashing yellow boxes, you see the warnings at the bottom of your screen, but all those flashing yellow boxes where we have severe thunderstorm warnings, and we have had areas of heavy rainfall. Brian is going to take a closer look at some of those stronger cells, and we have seen some that have produced a pretty big size hail, Brian.
Yeah, this storm here near the Ethan area right now, that's probably the strongest of the bunch, at least in terms of hail. We've had some reports of hail that's been up to about golf ball size. So Parkston right now, you're also seeing some of that with that dark purple and even some of that black colored in there. That's again a severe thunderstorm warning for Hutchinson County. We've got several of these going on as we speak. I do want to quickly mention right over Sioux Falls again. Here's what we're looking at. You can see we've got two warning boxes, one primarily Minnehaha County. I would now argue the southern cell from Lincoln is probably taking over, Jay. It looks like it's a little stronger. And the Beersford radar, where you see this purple, so that's where we're likely getting the hail, and that is indicating that south side of Sioux Falls, 57th Street over to Interstate 29. That's a pretty rough area right now. It is coming down very heavily. There's our live sweep of the radar. Again, that's a current picture of that severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, we're getting poured on here in the Sioux Falls area. Again, those severe thunderstorm warnings do continue. They're pretty widespread across the KELO region. We're going to have another update coming up from the Storm Center in just a few minutes. show you a particularly nasty storm. This is, you're looking live, Parker Lyam out to the west, out toward... This is a storm cell that has a history of over 2-inch hail. Right now, Brian's showing you the underside of the back sheared anvil. This storm is organized, and it's got a particularly nasty radar signature on it as well. And let's take a look at some of the places where we could be seeing some issues in the next few minutes, Brian, because this storm cell is looking like it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, we have, this is mainly for Parkston to the east. So really Hutchinson County is kind of the ground zero area there between Parkston and up to Bridgewater. If you're in that area, there is tennis ball size hail falling in the middle of that core, which, by the way, if we just put the ruler here on the map from Parkston, right now that is located, it looks like about 14 miles northeast of Parkston. Okay, so you've got a storm here with up to 70-mile-an-hour winds. And again, this is all, if we pan the view out, Jay, it's moving northeast at about, well, at a good speed now, at least 40. And if it holds together, it'll be moving into northwestern Turner County, a good chunk of southern McCook County. We're going to watch that into Sioux Falls as well here as it moves off to the northeast at 50 miles per hour.
Yeah, if you can show that again, it looks like that one is what we call a right mover. As they strengthen, a lot of times they turn to the right. And if that trend continues, yes, it would come into the Sioux Falls metro area. So we're not done in Sioux Falls. We got some small hail, we got some heavy rain, and we might get another strong thunderstorm coming our way. Lots of yellow boxes, lots of warnings. You're watching those on the bottom of your screen. One more reminder that we do, in fact, have a, in the southeastern part of KELO, we do have a tornado watch. Areas south of the Sioux Falls area in red, that's till 10 o'clock tonight. Areas in green, Sioux Falls to the north, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch. That is posted until midnight tonight. We do expect to see that these storms are going to be clearing probably the KELO area by about midnight, moving off to the east. And there you see, it's a patchwork of very strong storms. Looks like it's going to be a bumpy evening of weather here in southeastern KELO.
Break in if you need to, Jay. That's our time. Thanks for watching.
Stay safe, everyone, and have a good evening.
Storm Center.
Good evening from the storm. Parker looking to the west. This is a very well-organized thunderstorm, and it has a history of producing over 2-inch hail, and it also has a potential to be producing some very strong winds. Brian Karstens is keeping an eye on that using our hail tracker on our Viper display. And Brian, what are you seeing right now?
Well, the main concern is that hail, and as we're monitoring this right now, there's Parkston and Freeman, so you can see the main concern is that dark gray and black area within that hail swath. We are now getting confirmed reports of tennis ball and baseball size hail within this storm. That's a public report 2 miles south of Clayton now. And Storm Tracker, again, this is moving to the east, and it's to the northeast. So the warning now extends into McCook County, northwestern Turner, and we do think that if it continues to hold together, it could be a problem closer to Sioux Falls. Again, we're still watching that. Let me go back to just the radar picture here, too. It's obviously a supercell. In other words, it's a fairly organized structure there. You can see some of these typical features, even an appendage or a little hook signature there just northwest of Freeman. Your hail core is right there in the middle of that purple spot. So Bridgewater, you are also in the middle of this right now, as that large hail swath extends even up to Emory, it looks like, Jay. So
yeah, let me show you the circulation on that, Brian. Here's the underside of the back side of that anvil. This is a well-organized supercell. So we're concerned this one could be producing some considerable damage from hail and wind, if nothing else, because this thing is really wound up now. This is the remnants of a storm cell that did produce some very large hail just the east of Corsica. It is now moving in an easterly direction. And now a tornado warning. Have a look at your screen.
Zoom in on there.
And this is what we're looking at. So this is just to the west. Oops, I'm sorry. It's a little difficult for me to operate this thing, but we'll get a view on it. Oh, right there, because it's just to the north. And yeah, we do have a tornado warning on that cell right now. And
Yeah,
I'll get it for you here, Brian. It's just taking. There we go.
There it is. South Central McCook County, Northwestern Turner County, East Central Hutchinson County. This tornado warning in place until 7 p.m. Confirmed tornado near Clayton, or about 20 miles west of Parker. This is moving to the east at 40 miles per hour. If you are in Freeman, if you are in Marion within the next 10 to 20 minutes, you guys need to seek shelter immediately. Again, this is a confirmed tornado on the ground 20 miles west of Parker near the Clayton area.
And that's the area that we're kind of keeping an eye on your screen right now, the left-hand side of that picture. Let me go over to Brian. Take a look at the velocity signature, the winds within that storm cell, Brian.
Okay, so Viper right now specifically puts that area with those circles, okay? Now, I'm going to get your bearing straight here. So we've got Freeman here on the map. Right here, this is located about 7.5 miles northwest of Freeman is where we kind of put at least those particular areas. And again, from Parker, so we know that's another way we can measure this. If we go west of Parker, again, about 20 miles or so, and Viper puts that exactly at 20 miles. Okay, so that's where we're at 6:38. Now, let me go back to radar. So see this? This is, again, what we're talking about. We've got a supercell thunderstorm with a confirmed tornado on it. And again, this is going to be moving to the northeast. Adam, what's our speed right now on that? The latest?
The east at 40 miles per hour.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a storm tracker on this. And this, again, is going to pop up here east at 40. So now I'm going to do a projection on that. So Marion, 6:57. Lake Lorraine, west side of Sioux Falls, is popping up some places here by 7:30 or just a little after that. Okay, now that's a projection at 40 miles per hour. So that puts it into the Sioux Falls area within the hour. Okay, we have a tornado watch in effect for a large area of southeast South Dakota. The storm, though, that is of particular concern is this one that we keep talking about now. And Jay, I don't know if you've got anything new visually on that.
Yeah, let's take a look back. This is, again, we're looking from Parker off to the west. So we're quite a ways away, but we're pretty high up in the sky, so we should at least be able to see the underside of that storm. We're kind of in the, we have a rain-free base we're able to look at through there. There's a bit of scud in the coming off that cloud. But that storm is very wound up, and ordinarily we wouldn't be talking about the possibility of it coming into the Sioux Falls area, but this thing is very well organized, and looking at its energy supply, there's really nothing to the south holding it back. That's the underside of the anvil cloud right there. And again, it was confirmed tornado on the ground, and that is the storm cell that we are watching. A little bit of scud showing up there as well. Let me get, Brian, I'm going to go back to you so you can show the location on this so folks can see exactly where it is.
Yeah, so here is Freeman. Freeman is in the tornado warning. Marion is in the tornado warning. If you are in those two communities, we need you to take shelter immediately. Means getting to the lowest level of your structure that you're in. If you're in your home, get to the basement. And of course, these storms, they travel quickly. This is an example of that, where you don't have, this is moving at least 40 miles per hour. So quick movers, we got to take action there. So that's, again, northwestern Turner County and portions of northeastern Hutchinson. I'm going to zoom right in on this, Jay. The tornado, as we are scanning it right now, is located right here. So that would be, if we look at our roads here, that's 274th Street here in northeastern Turner or northeastern Hutchinson, and I would say crossroads are about 435th. So those rural areas right now, that's kind of where we're at here, just north of Freeman.
Just 4 miles west of Highway 81. So
yes,
for those of you who know 81 near the Freeman area, that's the area we're talking about right there.
Yep, and it obviously is in an environment where the temperature in Freeman, I think I scanned that just a little bit ago, was 72 there?
Around 71 in Freeman.
Yeah, so it's warm enough to support a tornado, obviously, and this day has been one of those where it's changed quickly, hasn't it? Each and every hour. So
yeah, two more things for you. Pardon the interruption on that one. 4 miles southwest of Clayton, another report of baseball-sized hail. One of the county deputy sheriff's vehicles had their windshield smashed in by some baseball-sized hail out that way. Again, that's 4 miles southwest of Clayton. Also, a new severe thunderstorm warning to be until 7:15. Lincoln, Lyon, Murray, Pipestone, and Rocky, Minnesota, and Minnehaha and Moody counties until 7:15 in South Dakota. Half-hour-sized hail, 60-mile-per-hour gusts with that particular cell. That is moving to the northeast. It's screaming along 65 miles an hour.
Okay, and that's that area right here that we're showing, Pipestone.
Garrettson.
Yes, down to Garrettson. And again, that one at this point, not as concerning on a tornado threat, but certainly some hail in that too. So again, as we're doing live coverage, it's now 6:42, and you're watching KELO Television. We are, of course, putting our coverage here on as we continue to watch a tornadic thunderstorm in and around the Freeman and Marion area. If you are in this area, we need you to be taking shelter immediately. Again, this is the storm path, and along this storm path within the last 20 minutes, we've had hail that has been destructive. It is breaking out windshields from law enforcement that are tracking it. It's a serious storm. So this one we really got to pay attention to here over the next few minutes. Again, the latest track. I'm going to go actually, Jay, right now to our other source here. That's again just from the Beersford radar standpoint. Again, the hook is clearly defined there. I would even point out here again, there's probably some enhancement on the edge of the hook. So again, assume tornado on the ground. Spotters are going to continue to come in and let us know what they're seeing as well. We're scanning live. This is from our Parker live camera. So we're looking about 20 miles away or thereabouts. So again, we're getting more of a broader view of that. But as that clearing underneath that storm comes in a little closer, we'll probably see more details as that approaches from the west here, Jay.
Yeah, and Adam's been keeping track of the storm reports, and we certainly have a lot of those coming in now. This is thunderstorms, as expected, really started to pop up late this afternoon. A surge of warm air. We had record high temperatures today in Lincoln, Nebraska, and Omaha, made it the low 90s. And that air surged to the north with plenty of humidity, with plenty of heat. And that's what you're seeing right now. We're watching some of these lowerings coming off the base of that supercell thunderstorm cloud. And that's the area that we're watching. And that is a thunderstorm machine going on there right now. Brian, I'm going to pop up your radar display real quick again.
Sure. Okay, so just to reset what we're looking at. So now we've got reports again moving through that Clayton area, which is back here. I'm going to highlight that so folks know what we're talking about, because we've mentioned that community several times here. So south of Clayton and around there has been the excessively large hail. So now, since those reports have come in, see, now look at this. See, Viper just rescanned. Let me show you this. So this is our latest look here. See how it popped in another one of these rotation markers right over Dolton. Okay, so this is where we're looking at right now at 6:45, and that's again the center point of the rotation. The hook structure is definitely there. Okay, so if I take this out and just draw this with the telestrator, this is your hail core up here, Stanley Corner, and then as we pan this part of it again, it's probably, I would say, maybe reforming a little bit there on that hook structure. We'll see if this ends up reorganizing or not. It's going to interact with some of the thunderstorms that we've had that have already previously gone through Parker and some of the areas a little farther east, but it's still in a pretty active area. So if you're in Marion, if you're in Monroe, please get into your basement or your tornado shelter, because this storm very strong. The other thing I'm going to mention too while we're talking about this is the wind. And we're just looking at the internals on this right now. This is telling us where things are happening. See that over Dolton? There's definitely some things going on here in terms of wind, rotation in that cloud, and that seems to be, Jay, probably the most favorable area for new tornado development. So if you're in Dolton, please be in the basement, and also Monroe. You're not far down the road here right now. As we look at our distance tracker, again, that's about 8 miles or so to the east. So that's kind of our tornado warning box as we see it here right now. I do want to also emphasize for Sioux Falls. Okay, so let's put Sioux Falls in this map here. And at this point in time, from downtown, that storm is about 35 miles to the west. It is still moving to the east at about 40. Okay, so again, that's why we're really watching this, because it's not going to take long, and if it continues to be tornadic, it's going to be moving very close to the western side of Sioux Falls within the next 45 minutes. And we did a storm tracker earlier. Let's do another one.
Brian, if I can, just if you can leave that there a second.
You betcha.
I just wanted to explain exactly. Brian's talking about the tornadic part of the cell right here. On the north side of it, this is where we're going to be seeing some pretty big size hail as well. So we have different threats on different parts of the storm. Hail down here, which is where the red, I should say tornado down here, which is why we have the red box for the tornado warning that Brian is now tracking off to the east. But also these areas here, we see those purple colors. That is going to be some of that big hail and damaging hail, as Adam was saying with the storm reports. Adam, do you have any more new reports out of any of those cells?
Two. Well, one new report, one new warning. From a little bit earlier, northeast of Armour, we had a golf ball-sized hail being reported by emergency managers. One just coming over the wire now in Karstens. We've had golf ball-sized hail being reported by the public from that same storm as well. New warning came up for Hanson and McCook counties in the Emory area, up towards Salem, Montrose, I-90 corridor, between Hartford and Mitchell. That is until 7:15 p.m. We're talking about 1.5 inch diameter hail possible with that cell, which is going to continue to move to the northeast at 55 miles per hour.
All right, and Brian, let's go back to that live cam out of Parker.
Yep, so this is what we're seeing right now. Again, this time of year in April, you don't always see as much with some of these cloud structures, but tonight we're definitely seeing at least a few things there. And again, we're panning. This is on top of, our live camera network at Parker. So when we look up to the northwest, again, this is kind of what we're seeing right now. And again, I would say in this part of the storm right there to the northwest, that's where all that rain and hail is located. But yeah, obviously at this point, just kind of keeping an observation on this thing, and we'll continue to scan that every little bit here as we hear more reports and those kind of things. But we want you to be safe, and obviously just having that plan. It's a little early. Severe weather season, you know, we typically talk about Severe Weather Awareness Week coming up here in later in part of April, but we are, and we're already into tornado season. Again, tornado warning is in effect. I am going to zoom in a little bit on, and you're going to cover that warning.
Cover this right now. We do have a warning, which is just to the southwest side of Sioux Falls. That's a tornado warning you see there. But also the watches we have posted. Tornado watch south of the Sioux Falls area. Severe thunderstorm watch to the north until midnight. Mainly large hail, but we have seen some destruction with a combination of winds and hail. And that's a very damaging combination when you get the two of those things together. Wind blown hail can be a big problem. And continue to watch that storm cell off to the west of Parker. Again, it's a ways off from Parker at the present time yet, but that thing is moving kind of in an easterly direction. Before, the storm cells were moving kind of in the northeast. Now they're moving a little bit more in an easterly direction. But this is all in areas to the southwest of the Sioux Falls area. And just to let you know, at its current direction, it's kind of headed toward the southern part of the Sioux Falls area. It's bringing with it some hail. It's bringing with it some wind and the possibility of a tornado as well out of the southern part of that storm cell, which is to the west of the Sioux Falls area. Brian, you have something to show us?
Yes, we've got pictures of the hail in the Parkston area.
That's big hail.
That's 2.5 inch diameter from a viewer that just sent that in within the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, they just sent this. Let me show you the next one here. I've got another one here. Again, this is from Jordan, and we thank you for doing that. Again, these are pictures just coming in literally in the last couple minutes. So as this thing unfolds tonight, again, please make sure that you're taking these seriously, because this is some big hail. And that could do a lot of damage in a hurry. I do want to pan over. Go ahead.
For the tornado warned storm, that just got reduced to radar indicated rotations, no longer showing confirmation of a tornado on the ground. Still in place until 7 p.m. Same area. This is near Dalton, 12 miles west of Parker, moving due east at 40 miles per hour. So if you're still in Marion, Monroe, Parker, you still need to seek shelter immediately for this storm. Again, east at 40 miles per hour right now.
That's not as organized as it was before. I mean that's a good sign for us. As it moves toward the Sioux Falls area, Brian, I've got your display up right now at the present
You bet. And looking at that right now, again, that area near Marion, again, we're watching it carefully. Obviously, the hail to the north up through Stanley Corner and any of these areas shaded in purple, likely at least seeing some of the hail as we speak. So for the moment, yeah, again, and you're kind of watching this this whole storm as it's been moving to the east-northeast. Again, it has maybe lost a little bit of its punch, and that's maybe in response to the fact that we had a thunderstorm in Parker a little earlier. So the hope is that maybe some of these other thunderstorms can, you know, at least contribute to some decrease there. But obviously, we still have to be pretty vigilant as this storm has a history of some really intense hail and a tornado report earlier in its life cycle. But again, right now, the main threat, there's Marion. You can see that on your screen. And we're also watching Monroe. Those two communities right there in the path of that storm. Jay?
Go ahead.
New report from 3 miles east of Emory. Golf ball-sized hail being reported by local law enforcement. Again, from that same cell that's been moving through that had that warning put in place around 10 or 15 minutes ago. Again, that's golf ball-sized hail 3 miles east of Emory.
That's that purple area you see on your screen that Brian is showing there. So if I was by the Canastota area there, I would consider that to be probably baseball-sized hail as well.
Yeah, Canastota absolutely being affected by this hail. This is the 30-minute loop. So you can see over the last half an hour how fast that has changed or how much pushing on the map we have here. So that's why for Sioux Falls, it's not going to be too long if some of the hail holds together. Those are all things that we're just going to watch. And again, we've already had one thunderstorm. That's now moved over here to Garrettson. Again, that's not a tornadic storm, but it is a severe thunderstorm warning for the Pipestone area. And then you pull the view out here. The rest of this is pretty much out of our coverage area in Iowa. They've had other tornadoes there. But as of right now, it looks like this is the main storm that we're going to have to continue to watch as long as that, again, tornado warning is in effect for northwestern Turner County. Guys?
All right. I wanted to take a look at our live camera from Sioux Falls and see what's going on there. We can see off to the west. We can see some of the clouds start to come in the southwest, I should say. And even Sioux Falls, we can see the underside of that anvil cloud. And it's still a ways away from Sioux Falls, but clearly you can see the underside of the anvil right there. Let's go back to Parker and see what we're seeing down there, because we've had a fairly good view of that storm cell earlier. Again, there was the report of the touchdown a bit earlier when the storm was a little bit more organized. It is now still just to the southwest of the Sioux Falls area. Here's what that cell looks like from Parker. Now it's moving a little bit. I can go a bit further to the west. The right-hand side of your screen there, you're looking into the rain and the possibly hail part of that storm, or probably hail part of that storm system. And that's where it is at the present time. Brian, you're still getting pretty good signature for hail on using our Viper processor.
Yep, and this is what we're seeing. So anything there in the purple, that's where we're getting at least some hail. We've, of course, see these darker streaks of black and the gray in there, and that's where the history of that really large destructive hail has been. So, again, this streak continues to push to the northeast. It looks like Canastota would be on the edge of some of that hail right now. Let me show you this little product, too. This actually does a really good job of pinpointing these little pockets of hail. So we can zoom in here. This is Canastota. See if I can click on that, and then there's another little spot, it looks like, just to the southwest of Salem. In terms of the tornadic or the wind portion of this, couple things here. We can see there, again, Monroe, and it looks to me like right in that area. Again, let me zoom back here. You can see where Viper's had these off and on spinning circles, if you will. Those are what we call shear markers. Those are spots, the hot spots on the radar that are more indicative of some rotations. So it looks to me like that maybe is weakened a little bit, but it is moving into Monroe, perhaps. Also here toward Canastota, we've got just enough of that signature still kind of pulling off to the northeast. So keep watching that. Again, that area area is actually not in the tornado warning box, but even trailing to the south, it looks like there's a pretty good gust front now of wind. Do you see that little fine line here down northwest of Mayfield? And even though the radar not showing necessarily a lot going on there, I bet you there's some wind. And of course, that's the cold air it's pouring in now on the backside of this front here.
Yeah, helping to produce all that stuff. The shear not as impressive anymore in that tornado warned area. Maybe recycling too. It's as it moves in a northeasterly direction in the general direction of the Sioux Falls area. Here's again a view from Parker looking at that storm cell. To the northwest away from the Parker area. It's moving in a northeasterly direction just on the west side, and so it is to the west of the Parker area. Let's see what's going on in Sioux Falls off to the west. You can see the storm cell. It is out there and is moving toward the Sioux Falls area slowly. Do you have any new reports in for us, Adam?
Only thing that's coming in is a report out of Jackson County, $50 sized hail from the storm that had been moving up to the northeast of Garrettson. Also just over, new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued. Hutchinson, McCook, Minnehaha, and Turner counties are extending that warning toward Humboldt and the Hartford area. This will be until 7:30 p.m. They are indicating upward of 1 3/4 inch diameter hail, so roughly the size of golf balls. This is moving to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. Again, they've extended that up to the I-90 corridor into Minnehaha County, including the Hartford and Humboldt areas. 45-mile-per-hour trajectory to the northeast.
All right, that's the storm that they're looking at. If you're around Humboldt or Hartford, keep in mind you're going to be seeing that storm coming through with hail and probably some strong winds as well. Brian's got the storm track on some of those communities for you.
Yeah, so Humboldt by 7:10, Hartford 7:22, Lyon 7:25, Crook 7:31, Baltic 7:35. Again, that's on the flank of the storm that has hail. Again, we've been watching some of this earlier on the rotational part of this closer to Marion, but as of right now, it looks like that's where things are going to set up. Wanted to check on a couple things here quickly. Let me take the storm tracker off for just a moment.
Let me show the big picture then, Brian, in the meantime. Here's a look at the big picture. Everything's been moving in a northeasterly direction, and we do have the one tornado warning area. It is this one right here to the west of the Parker area. Here's where we do have the line of thunderstorms. The yellow box tells us we are under a severe thunderstorm warning in those areas. They're moving kind of in an easterly direction. Here's the Sioux Falls area itself. We're kind of concerned about the western edge of Sioux Falls as these things move in an easterly direction. Here are some other cells to the northeast of the Sioux Falls area. Those are moving in a northeasterly direction. Look for hail and winds, possibly destructive hail as though we get those wind-blown, very large hailstones. This is what is the stronger of the cells, though. This is the one that has been producing the baseball-sized hail we've been talking about. This is the one that broke out the deputy's windows in his car. This is the wind-driven stuff, and probably we're getting some damaging type of hail in that area itself. Brian, let's go back over to you and see what you have as far as what you're looking at there. And wow, that's pretty interesting what you're looking at.
Yeah, that's a viewer picture from Dimmock. So again, that's just more of an illustration of what the hail looks like this evening.
It's at least golf ball sized hail, just by eyeballing it.
Yeah, and if you combine that with the winds that we're probably seeing in there, that's pretty destructive stuff. Here's what the storm still looks like coming into the Sioux Falls area from the west. It's kind of moving in a northeasterly direction. Still could clip the Sioux Falls area. Adam, what do you have?
Two updates for you. The tornado warning has been allowed to expire for Hutchinson, McCook, and Turner counties. Also, 5 miles east of Parkston, a report of egg-sized hail from the storms that have been moving through over the course of the evening.
All right, so that's kind of what we've been seeing as far as hail size is about the same stuff. Brian, what do you have over there?
Yeah, and I would agree with, the consensus here is that, we've had maybe a cycling down of this storm we've been noticing since, probably about 10 minutes ago. And that is encouraging news. We would like this thing to at least encounter some rain, cooled air. It might be ingesting some of that. Sioux Falls, of course, during the 6 o'clock news had heavy rain and some hail.
There was some small hail, yeah.
Yep.
And we did have reports of a lot of pea-sized hail, especially the southern part of Sioux Falls is what I was getting, and some of the information was coming into me. So we did have some hail, we did have some heavy rain, and we're probably getting some pockets of heavy rainfall as well, but we're concerned about the winds and the hail, and everything's moving in a northeasterly direction. Let me give you one last look at the watches that we have posted. We do have a severe thunderstorm watch for areas just to the north of the Sioux Falls area, which you see here in green. That's posted until midnight tonight. Mainly a large hail threat, though we could have some wind-driven hail with some of that. Also to the south, a tornado watch continues south of the Sioux Falls area. We did have the confirmed tornado a bit earlier to the west of the Parker area, out well to the west between Parker and, say, Karstens. And we don't have any reports of any damage in out of that, but we do know there was a confirmed tornado a bit earlier. So these two things remain. And, of course, we do have pretty widespread pockets of thunderstorms producing some hail and producing some rain. I never mentioned lightning, but we have had that too. Brian, let's go back and see what you're looking at there for Karstens. That's still that same storm cell.
Yeah, this is again looking at the scene here. Again from Parker, you can see the low clouds, and obviously as we scan that storm, we've been kind of panning here to the north. That's more looking due north of Parker. So an example of what's headed towards Sioux Falls. In fact, as we're on this particular source, again, you can see right now that is the area there that we're showing you, and now I want to show you Sioux Falls. So from the city downtown, yeah, that cloud, that bank of cumulus clouds there to the west, that means there's a fairly strong storm west of town, and again, prepare for some hail.
A few raindrops coming in there off the live cam as well. All right, the tornado warning has expired. We've seen kind of a cycling down of the strength of the tornadic part of that storm. We do still have some hailstones out there. We have those thunderstorms which continue to move in a northeasterly direction. And of course, we do have the watches as well. We're going to keep an eye on those storms. If they cycle back up again, become as destructive, we will jump right back on the air. In the meantime, we will send you back to your regular programming.
What about their phone?